Hello and welcome to this edition of Halcyon Blink. My name is Lon Risey, I'm going to be your host for this episode. And on this edition, let's talk about Crazy Taxi. Crazy Taxi. Love me some Crazy Taxi. PlayStation 2, the year is 2000 and... I want to say 2 or 3. Young Lorne is sitting at the PlayStation, but he's bored, he doesn't have anything to do. Papa Risley comes in and brings in a brand new PlayStation 2 with a couple of games. One is Dead or Alive 2, which he traded for Tekken because he thought it was better for some reason. And he also brings in Crazy Taxi. Crazy Taxi, excellent game. Premise of which, you're a taxi and you've got to drive crazy. You have basically a city with which to traverse. You take fares from one point to the other and you drive a series of different style character taxis with different stats, and that's kind of it. There's not really a tremendous amount of story or progression. There's basically you set off and you have certain amounts of time in order to make as much money as possible.
More.
That's it. It really is that simple of a premise. The quicker that you deliver people to their destination, the more money you get, and you can cause as much mayhem and chaos as you like in the meantime. There are a couple of instances where you get minus time for certain things, like crashing into people is not good. You can also do that so much that the person would get out of the cab, especially if you don't meet the pre-required time limit. Traditionally, the further they are, the more money they pay. The shorter distance they are, the less money they pay, but then you balance that between making maybe lots of short journeys in a short space, or making that one big journey for the big payday. And at the end of your allotted time, you clock up at the amount that you made and you get graded as a result. The driving mechanics though leave a little bit to be desired. I remember feeling constantly that the controls, I was wrestling with them and unresponsive and numb to a certain degree, and the acceleration it felt like it went too fast at times and not fast enough in others. You're just constantly always wrestling to get that perfect balance and that perfect acceleration and trying to memorize the map and how to take corners and navigate in traffic, and it was excellent. It was ace, all amplified by the soundtrack of this game. Now, again, 2003 Lorne was into his Papa Roach. He was into his Offspring, he was into his Sum 41, and he was into his Linkin Park at the time. So having a soundtrack predominantly of nu metal, rock, pop rock, nu metal, all this stuff. I said nu metal twice, but there's a lot of nu metal around in the day. That sort of style of music made the game feel, again, frantic, fast-paced, no time to waste, but fun and light and excellent. I mean, graphics really rudimentary, but super colourful and detailed enough considering the speed and the mechanics of the game. You also got time ups and time buffs and jumps and stunts and things of that nature. So the game was always designed similar to what an old school Sonic game would have been. The emphasis was on constant speed, constant movement, constant action from one place to another, and making that journey as fun as it can be with different emotions, the passengers in the backseat getting animated about how fast you were going or how well you were driving or how much of a maniac you are, people running and fleeing in terror while the music is blaring in the background. It was absolutely excellent. And to this day, I still can't really figure out what the logo is. It's this weird football with teeth that's on fire.
Hey, come on over, have some fun with Crazy Taxi!
But I love it. I think it looks cool as hell. The green-haired dude was always my preferred character to use, albeit I think he wasn't even the best character. I just thought he looked the coolest. My prevailing memories of the game are that it was immensely fun. And that's not complicated or simplistic, and it wasn't the kind of game you'd spend 3 or 4 hours playing. You would play this game in bursts, and it would wear you out to a certain degree. But again, because the mechanics were a fight, and because the premise was simplistic, but it was that turn-based. You'd give it to your brother or sister and let them have a crack, and then once they were done, you'd have a crack, and by the time that they weren't bored again, it's time for you to hand over the controller. It was a perfectly balanced game for what it was. The replayability was always just in that, can I go that little bit further, can I make that little bit more money, can I beat his score? And It was designed to be simple but fun, and it excels in this aspect, more than games designed much better today do. So it speaks to the design of the game if it's fun above fun, even despite its limitations and the hardware that it was produced on back in the day. So as a gaming experience, it's simple and rudimentary. It's a 7 out of 10. I can't say that it's absolutely amazing, but I will say that if you've still got a PlayStation 2 and you still have a copy of this game, I would implore you to rock it, because it's still going to be a tremendously fun experience. And I believe there's a co-op mode that allows you to compete against each other. I never managed that because me and my brother were too selfish to share a turn. It would be, no, my turn, your turn, my turn, your turn. But I imagine that experience being quite interesting as well. There might be a racing element that you might want to look into there as well. Just saying. So if you've played Crazy Taxi, what did you think about the game? Do you have fond memories of it? Do you enjoy it? Did you enjoy it being a colourful and somewhat erratic experience? Have you never played the game? If so, what were the racing games of your childhood? What games did you want to play to get that exhilarating thrill of speed and ultimate control over a vehicle? Thanks very much for watching this episode of Halcyon Blink all the same, however. Please like, share, subscribe. Check out some of the other content creators in the description below. Follow me on Twitter. And as always, take care of yourselves. And I'll see you guys in the next episode of Halcyon Blink.